Does the body acquire its own immunity once it's had it? I mean, do you need to give the vaccine to people who've already had it?
An important question for someone who's had coronavirus, and the Prime Minister was all ears visiting this Oxford laboratory where scientists are working on a vaccine. But in the absence of one, what is the government's view of the threat now facing the country? Pretty serious, it seems.
We are now seeing a second wave coming in. We've seen it in France, we've seen it in Spain, across Europe. It's been absolutely, I'm afraid, inevitable that we would see it in this country.
His message was that restrictions now in place may not be enough.
I don't think anybody wants to go into a second lockdown, but clearly, when you look at what is happening, you've got to wonder whether we need to go further.
Merseyside was among several areas told today to impose new limits on pub opening hours and households mixing. The Mayor of Liverpool says it would be easier for everyone if there were more national curbs on social interaction.
I think I would rather see a national introduction of a lockdown so everybody is following the same rules. There's a consistency and an easier understanding of what it is people are expected to do.
In the UK, the reproduction rate is now between 1.1 and 1.4, up from between 1 and 1.2 last week. There were a further 4,322 lab-confirmed cases of coronavirus, around 1,000 more than yesterday. 27 people have died, and the latest hospital figures show that there were 1,020 COVID inpatients, 127 of them on a ventilator. Is a national lockdown now inevitable? This epidemiologist says not, but test and trace must improve and quickly.
We're already in the situation where test and trace is being stressed to its limits. Now, we can only expect, if the local lockdowns aren't immediately working, for those stresses to increase. And so that capacity has to be increased quite rapidly. And my worry would be that even a short-term local circuit break, is what they're calling it now, won't be sufficient to give the system time to catch up.
Nicola Sturgeon today called for COBRA to meet next week, warning cases were rising fast in Scotland.
If we want to avoid another full-scale lockdown, which all of us do, doing nothing almost certainly isn't an option.
Meanwhile, in London, for those enjoying a warm evening out in Soho, the message from the mayor was equally stark. New curbs are coming. After meeting public health officials, Sadiq Khan said, "I am of the firm view that we should not wait, as happened 6 months ago, for this virus to again spiral out of control before taking action. The best thing for both public health and the economy is new restrictions imposed early, rather than a full lockdown when it's too late." He's already cancelled the New Year fireworks, a sign of tough times ahead. Libby Vina, News at 10, Westminster.